I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you want to option the 2025 Audi Q7 TFSI 55 Quattro in satellite silver over brown interior. This is the Premium Plus, so it's kind of the mid-trim. You're going to get more interior items added when you go this route. The Prestige will be the fully loaded. We also have the black optic package, and this year it's revised. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over some pros and cons. The problem that I have with the Q7 and compare this against the competition. For 2025, it actually was integrated in 24. So if you have a late 24 model, you'll have the revised single frame Audi grille. It's going to be more enlarged, refreshed, matrix design LED headlights in daytime runnings. The gloss black that's going to be all over the front, that's because of the black optic package, which in every review I stress you want to go this route because it gives that performance look. The Audi O-rings getting blacked out, that is another package itself. It's around $500. They also illuminate. The lower gets a touch of the gloss black, and they have 3 different options when you go into the Q7. So you can do a 45, a 55, or the SQ7, which each trim unlocks over a second quicker in the 0 to 60. This one being at 5.5 seconds, and housed underneath the hood will have a 6-cylinder TFSI turbocharged, producing 335 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque paired to an 8-speed Tiptronic automatic transmission. Now, another reason why you want to go 55 instead of 45, that's a 4-cylinder turbo that only gets 4,400 pounds of towing. This unlocks the same as the SQ7, which is at 7,700 pounds of towing. 19-inch wheels is standard. The Premium Prestige gives us 20-inch. The black optic package gives us these 21-inch wheels. And the disc is at 14.8 inches in the front, 13.8 inches in the rear, which is the same as the SQ7. But when you're going this route, you're looking for a touch of performance, which it ticks the box. Quattro system, which is the all-wheel drive, so it's achieving 18 mpgs for the city, 23 mpgs for the highway. The black optic package blackens out everything on the side with a 4-wheel independent suspension and 5-link suspension for the front and the rear. Now, going against competition, BMW, you would have to go into an X7, which is going to start right at almost $100,000. When you're getting this is almost fully loaded. You're at $77,000 with all the features and packages we have ticked onto this. Now, the con with the Audi is you have to add a lot of features in order to make the vehicle what it is. So instead of upgrading the wheels, I usually say get the black optic package because it gives you the upgraded wheels and the black aesthetics on the exterior. As for Mercedes, they have a lot of different variants in which they do have more competitive vehicles in pricing to this, but both of them are going to be right at the same speed, 0 to 60, and towing capacity is the same. Genesis, the GV80, they only make one trim that has a 3rd row variant, so this kind of leaves it in a sweet spot area because you wouldn't really compete against Infiniti and Acura or Lexus, even though in most of my reviews for Infiniti, Acura, and Lexus, I do compare it against the Germans. That's because it's kind of a sweet spot if you're looking to get a lot of value. But once you're wanting more performance, these variants outclass it because we have an SQ8, which gets a 0 to 60 at 4 seconds. It's more or less a detuned Lamborghini Urus engine. And for 25, they refresh the rear, matrix design LED taillights, the blacked out badging with the black optic package coming into the rear for the rest of the aesthetics, and we actually get dual exhaust finishers this year. They have swapped out the fake exhaust to give us real exhaust, so I like that. Now, you will have to tick the box for the executive package in order to get the top view or 360-degree reverse camera front and rear parking sensors, which is a con to me because once you're in the 55, I feel that should give it to you or kind of unlock it, because if you compete against any of the other vehicles in class, typically when you get into the 2nd trim, they give that to you for free. The first reason why I would pick this over the competition, though, is because you have 3rd row capabilities, you have performance. I mean, 5.50 to 60 is more than enough. You have the Quattro all-wheel drive system, which is bulletproof when you're trying to do any type of maneuver, especially if you live up north in North America. This vehicle is going to tick the box for everything, and it's one of the best in class for towing capabilities. But let us know your thoughts in the comments. Would you choose this over BMW or Mercedes, or going into the sweet spot premium luxury vehicles like Infiniti, Acura, and Lexus? Liftgate going into 13.1 cubic feet of storage behind the 3rd row. You have a 12 volt that's going to be tucked right here with a little storage nook, LED interior lights underneath the floor. Gets a little bit of storage. You can split fold the rear bench electronically at a 50-50 split. You do have to hold the buttons in order to do so. And that will increase the cargo capacity. Unfortunately though, to maximize to the 68.1 cubic feet, you have to come back here, fold them down at a 40-20-40 split to maximize the cargo capacity to the Q7. We're gonna go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. The key fob to the Q7. 12-way power seat adjustment for the front, heated, ventilated seats. We have the executive package, which ticks the box for that. Memory for the driver. LED lighting for the sills. That's part of the Premium Plus package, which also gives us, when I fire it up, this 360-degree reverse camera, also known as top view. You can go all around the vehicle. You can also click onto this and change different layouts, so that way you can see all around you as well on the top screen, which is a 10.1, known as the MMI interface. It also integrates the Bang & Olufsen sound system, a large panel moonroof that goes into the back. The executive package adds the acoustic dual pane windows for the sides. Leather is going to be around the steering wheel. It's heated because of the executive package. Multi-function with the paddle shifts. The gauge cluster is a 12.3 digital reader that can go through an array of different content for the driver, including the navigation. You can also zoom out or zoom in. And going back into the 10.1, you have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio, Amazon Alexa. The lower screen is an 8.6-inch, derived for the dual climate control settings. In this case, we have the quad climate control settings. You click onto here and you can change the back from the front. That's also because of the executive package, as well as your driving mode select. You'll have a few different driving modes there. You can also individually set the drive and the steering. You're gonna have the wood inlays with the ambient lighting, 12-volt charger, an area for the key fob. This is gonna be a little bit more sporty. It does slide back and it lifts up into a smaller storage pocket with 2 USB ports. Leg space is going to be plenty. There isn't any pass-through or sleeve of storage on either side. As for headroom, it's more than enough with the auto-dimming rear view mirror. Dashboard and door panel configuring together. You can add a leather package, which will put leather here and here, also here, but there's no need to do that when you're going into a base Q7 because it's going to option it out. The wood inlays come into play with the ambient lighting, one touch up and down for all the windows. It's going to be a little bit more sporty with a long storage pocket. It's deep, just not so wide, only for the opening for a beverage holder with a driver storage pocket. For the back seat, this is the opening that you have. The executive package gives us the manual sunshades going into the Q8. This will be power folding. You get an ashtray right here. It's going to be a little bit more sporty. You get the ambient lighting, a deep storage pocket, especially right here for the beverage area. 3 can fit, and you can put this down for 2 to fit with cup holders. There's the quad climate control, so dual in the back. The heated rear seats is part of the executive package. Air vents, USB port, and 12 volt with storage net. Air vents here in the side. And check out the leg space that you have. You can also scoot this more forward, which I wouldn't be able to fit. This goes all the way back. This is in the seat position the way it would be, so headroom is more than enough. If I could just find the lever, here it is. And you can recline it back so you have a lot more room. Sliding into the center, the floor isn't completely flat, but you could put your feet here. It's just your legs will be really up in the air for a long journey. So I would suggest just share a little bit of feet space. You're not going to be sharing that much, nor leg, butt, or shoulder space. The same thing with knee room, and because it's a 40-20-40 split, even with that seat reclined, I'm still sitting upright, showing that I have plenty of headroom at 6'3". For third row access, you pull the lever, you push it down, then you push this. Now it's going to move to give you a pretty good amount of room, except where this 20 is, it makes it a little bit more tight, but you can fit 2 more back here with cup holders. No air vents. Headroom isn't bad. There's no charging ports. And to show you the leg space, so this is just really for a quick drive. There isn't any armrest here in the center either. And there's the LED interior lights with the upgraded sound system that's right there, but they couldn't give me any air vents back here. I mean, really? 335 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. Reaching 60 at 5.5 seconds. The exhaust no filters in a little bit. I mean, everything around us is acoustic, so I'm not expecting it to come in that much. And that's also part of that executive package, which I have illustrated throughout the review, which is going to start taking me to pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is the value for the 55 isn't bad. I mean, you're just a hair over 65 grand. You're getting a lot of performance. You're getting pretty decent MPGs, Quattro all-wheel drive with the turbocharged 6-cylinder opposed to the 4-cylinder, so you're getting better towing capabilities, and it's going to be a little bit quicker. On the cons, you have to tick a lot of features. The pro, though, is if you tick the box to the black optic package, that takes care of every aesthetic on the exterior, so you don't have to worry about upgrading wheels. Going into the interior, you want to go into at least the Premium Plus, which is what we're showcasing, so you get all the features that we have talked about for the interior. Ticking the box for the executive package adds some more features to the back seat, as well as giving us those manual sunshades, which is a con to me because when you go into the Q8, they are power sunshades. I like that it's a 3rd row variant, so 7 occupants can fit, but it's going to be a little bit tight for the back seat. You have plenty of cargo capacity. There isn't anything underneath the floor to store anything, which is a con because when you're wanting a 3rd row variant, typically that's because you're wanting more cargo capacity and more people to be able to fit in the vehicle. That's why I would choose the Q8 over the Q7 personally, because it gives you a lot more space for the backseat occupants, whereas this one kind of adjusts that a little bit forward. You still have a sufficient amount of room. It's just going for the 3rd row. Unless you really need it, it's going to be tight. But that will take me to the second reason why I would option this over the competition. We got the refresh more or less, so it's taken care of on the exterior. You got some upgraded technology, and I mean, you have 3rd row capabilities. When you're looking at competitors, the only vehicle that really comes to mind that would be kind of in the same segment, but it's not all the way there yet, would be Genesis, Infiniti, Acura, and Lexus. Mercedes is actually the top competitor. BMW has kind of exited that line because the X5 no longer offers a 3rd row variant in which you have to go into the X7, which it's a totally different vehicle. And I get it. In the comments, I'm sure people are going to say, well, even though it's longer, it still competes against this. Unfortunately, Audi doesn't have a larger vehicle than this, but then the pro is it's not so overly long, so it makes it a little bit more attractive. Because me personally, I like the X5, but because it doesn't option a 3rd row, that turns me off. The X7, it's too big for my family. This actually ticks the box to everything, giving you the best of both worlds, and you can unlock the performance with the SQ7. Check this thing out. So when you're thinking 5.5 isn't quick, it actually is pretty quick. And even though I'm not a huge fan of adding all the features, I would probably option it this way because it makes it quiet for the drive. And this is something that you're going to be putting a lot of miles on. As for maneuverability, you saw it's not an issue. It doesn't feel that long or that wide, but they do a good job giving a lot of space for the 1st and 2nd row occupants. Braking on the vehicle is great. You have the same rear disc as an SQ8. Turn radius at more or less a stop point is about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. Now it's going to have some lag, that's to be expected, but at the end of the day, you're not expecting this to go on the track. You want quicker speeds to get to lights, better MPGs than an SQ7, luxury amenities, which this takes care of all of that, which is the third reason why I would choose this. Being the sweet spot, you're not over 80 grand, you're still in the 70 grand margin. I know it's in the higher 70s, but it's hard to capture everything for the sport design on the exterior to the luxury that you're getting on the interior, because you just feel like you're floating everywhere with the way the suspension is. Four-wheel independent suspension, 5-link suspension for the front and the rear. You're not going to receive any of these dynamics going into anything other than the Germans. Mercedes does a good job. The seat bolstering will be a little bit more soft there, but this is going to be the most quiet in class compared to all of them, just by ticking the box to one feature. Going back to some cons, no manual cushion extensions or power cushion extensions. You have to go into other trims in order to get this, which at these prices, some of these features I wish were standard. Even massage seats, you have to go up the tier. And once you start doing that, I mean, this is over 80, 90 grand pretty quick, in which now the question comes into play. Should I go to an SQ7 or an SQ8? Because they're basically the same vehicle, except the interior will house 3 rows to 2 rows. And if you are considering any of the other luxury to premium vehicles like Lexus or Infiniti, you're talking 4-cylinder engines, in which if you go Lexus and you want the more powerful variant, you're going to spend more money than this, and it just does not make sense at that point. Acura is the only vehicle that would have a naturally aspirated V6, in which when you go into the Type S, that's going to be more competitive with this, but you're at 80 grand there. And sadly, I feel Acura holds back in the performance line, leaving the Germans to be more of the performance segment with luxury, meaning Audi, Mercedes, and BMW. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Audi Lakeland for giving us this 2025 Audi Q7 55 TFSI Quattro for our car review.